Hi, everyone. This is Lisa Dance with UX Happens in RVA. I'm a user experience researcher and founder at Service Ease. And today we're going to have a really interesting conversation. Mike and I had a previous conversation about click to cancel, and Amazon just settled with the FTC for $2.5 billion. And it's some important lessons for businesses of all sizes that need to know about this.
So when we talked about it before, this is your world. And when you brought up click to cancel, I'd heard about it.
Right.
So when things come to the normal people, it's big because we all had an understanding. Who would have thought that months later it would bubble up to this? So let's go back to the whole click to cancel thing when I was so excited. I heard about it, you told me, and then I knew what you were talking about.
So click to cancel was a rule that the FTC had proposed, which would make it, when you have subscriptions, that it would have to be as easy for you to cancel a subscription as it is for you to sign up for it. Because you know how people have those gym memberships and different online subscriptions where, yes, you can sign you up very easily, but trying to get out of it is one hurdle over another. And oftentimes people get stuck paying for things for months or years later that they don't want. So in July, a U.S. appeals court decided that they put that click to cancel rule on a hold because they said the FTC did not follow all their procedures. At that time, I was thinking all is lost because a lot of consumer groups and customers were really excited and wanted their rule to happen. But Amazon's settlement last week with the FTC brings a lot of what that click to cancel was talking about into the forefront again.
So it was a question, you thought all was lost.
Right.
Why did Amazon step up because they're great people? Or is anybody else ready to step up and say, hey, we did this and maybe we shouldn't have been doing it?
I'm not sure about the last part, but Amazon had been sued by the FTC. They went to trial 2 weeks ago. They had 3 days of the trial. The first witness for the FTC was a user experience researcher. User experience was very important if that was the lead witness, right?
And that's what you do.
Yeah, that's what I do. And so the user experience researcher testified, and different emails and messages showed that the user experience research has shown that customers were having a difficult time knowing how to cancel. And the user experience researcher and his team had been telling Amazon management and executives for years that this was a problem. And they also had noted that, yes, they knew that it would cause Amazon to make less money because a big part of their revenue is having people to have Prime subscriptions. And this is specifically what this is about. And so they had their process where people were auto-enrolled without actually understanding they're being auto-enrolled for this Prime subscription. And then when they tried to cancel it, they had to go through all these hoops to get it canceled. So on the third day of the trial, Amazon settled with the FTC for $2.5 billion. Billions. That's not little money.
No.
And one important thing to point out about this trial, too, was that a couple of their executives, they were facing personal liability in the trial. So don't think just because you work for a company that you can't be held responsible.
You might have some personal legal exposure.
And so the judge had said that before the trial that they would be potentially liable personally for it. So that's a consideration of why Amazon settled. Now, in the settlement, they didn't make those people personally liable, but they did make some requirements on them that they couldn't do illegal acts. So
they put them on, we're going to put you in timeout. Don't do anything bad.
Yeah. So what this is really talking about is deceptive practices. So you can have your website or app and you have people having subscriptions, but you can't make it so difficult that the person cannot cancel, all right? It's okay to remind people, hey, if you cancel, you're not going to be able to do this thing. But that's about it. You can't just keep on throwing all these obstacles in the way so that someone can't cancel. Because let's think about it, and something I always try to emphasize, customer relationships and transactions are value exchanges. Each party has to get something of value that they want from the other. And if you keep on pushing it and pushing it so the person's getting less and less of value for something that they want, then you have skewed that value exchange, right? So people are not just having a business relationship with you to get nothing out of it or to get very little out of it. They want to get what they need. And so when you make it so that they're spending money they don't want to spend, that doesn't make for a good, long-lasting relationship.
What is the lesson learned for a business that's not Amazon? So you're figuring, if I agreed to pay Lisa $2.5 billion,
Yes.
what may I have been on the hook to pay in case I lost? So that would be the thing that would be like, okay, Lisa, let's talk. Let's not be rash here. So what would a smaller business have to learn from this when it comes to the whole click to cancel, making it difficult for people to leave?
One thing is, I would say as a user experience researcher, that user experience research is an early warning signal for risk, that you're putting yourself in risk. Because when user experience, oftentimes I have to tell stakeholders and companies, hey, what you're doing here, customers don't understand that, or they're going to get confused by that. So I have to tell them things they don't want to hear. But that's the early warning system, that you put this out in the marketplace, then you're going to get increased complaints. You're going to get customers who are mad. They're going to leave. Your customer service and all is going to be having all kinds of calls and different things. So there's risk involved when you don't do research and understand the impact of what you're doing, and it's risk involved when you ignore it.
So those are the things that play a part in it when early on.
Yes.
Like there may be a problem.
Yes. So it's an early warning signal.
Didn't they know that there may be something? Why is Lisa there? Why are you there? Because somebody sniffed that there is a problem somewhere.
Yes, that was also part of the case, is that they had emails and messages where the executives had been notified of it. And they experimented with making it easier, and then their Prime subscriptions went down. Well, then what did they do? They took that change out because they wanted to...
They want the numbers to be what they were.
This is called a deceptive practice, and you're taking an unfair advantage against the customer, because the customer should have a fair choice of whether or not they really want to buy something or keep this subscription.
So when this whole thing is going, you're watching this.
I'm reading about it, yes.
Were you shocked when Amazon came up and said, all right, you know what? We give up?
A little bit, but I think the fact that their executives had personal liability in it, the fact that there were emails and messages that they were aware of the issue, and reputationally, it doesn't look good to be on the news and there, like I said, those emails and stuff that said, oh yeah, we knew that this was going to cost us money, so we kept on doing it.
That's not a good look.
And this impacted, from one of the news stories, that this impacted like 40 million customers. And that's 40 million people. There are people in that who really couldn't afford it.
For that.
Yes.
So this is Lisa Dan. She is our UX expert, the researcher here. And how can people reach you out there?
You can reach me at serviceease.net. So that's serviceease.net.
Okay, so that's the first shoe that dropped, the click to cancel. Okay. I'm walking around like, boy, I know something. Okay, now all of a sudden this part happens. What's the next step that goes from the Amazon admission? Where are we now?
Amazon has to pay back $1.5 billion in customer refunds for all the customers who were caught up in this. They have to pay $1 billion in a civil penalty. They also have to pay a third party to monitor the customer refund process.
There's no shenanigans.
So it's no shenanigans.
So, and that was the one we talked. You were like, that's the one that kind of got you. It's not like, all right, we paid, but now they're like, all right, we got to watch you to make sure you're doing. Do you think that's the one that kind of would hamper them?
That, and another piece of it, that it's like they have to make sure that if somebody signs up, then their cancellation has to be easy and not difficult, and it has to be in the same form or channel that they signed up. So you can't make me sign up online and then make me have to make a phone call. I have to be able to do it easily online. And that was the language to click to cancel. So although click to cancel, that rule is not in effect in the settlement that Amazon made with FTC, that's some click to cancel language.
So I can't have Lisa sign up online, but when you want to cancel, I make you come to the office.
Right, yeah. No.
We're not having it. Can we have, if we sign up Lisa on page 1, but the cancel is on page 27?
No, because it has to be a simple process, because in the suit, Amazon had from you could do 2 clicks and sign up to it would be 4 pages, 6 clicks, and they also showed you on the different pages 15 different options. So
I didn't got lost. I got lost on the way. I didn't forget why I was there.
Absolutely.
And next year they got another month out of me.
That's right. So therefore, you can't do anything like that. So now, not on page 22.
So they cut down on the shenanigans.
Yes.
But you can see where I was going with that.
You're right. Absolutely.
You told me to put it in the same place. I did. But no, like page 1 is not the same as page 22. See, folks, that's why you have a UX expert out there on the research side to explain this, because like you said, some people did not have the money to just give away to Amazon. And there's been times I went to cancel something. I went to cancel cable one time, and no, I didn't go to cancel. I went to lower my bill and walked out paying more. And I was just like, man, I got a great deal. So I understand that. And you were talking, it's funny when something happens months ago and it comes to fruition. Right now, it's like, hey, look at this, and this is the reason why, and this is the penalty that goes with it.
Right, absolutely, yes. And I think a lesson for other businesses, like I've heard business leaders that they're talking about, they're looking at the big guys, right, and seeing what they do and copying them. One, you need to ask, are you ready, willing, and able to pay the penalty like Amazon is? And that's a very big point, right? A lot of people are not in that position, even if it's not $2.5 billion. Are you able to pay a big portion of your revenue for a penalty? Do you have competition that if you have that reputational damage because you've done something like that, that they can swoop in and say, no, we're
not those guys?
Are you really willing and able to take on those type of risks? So you need to be thinking about, are you modeling after companies that their business practices are the ones that you want to actually emulate? So that's really important. I think like another lesson is how important user experience research is. And I can always provide the research, but they also made that decision, right? And so you have to think about that decision making that, this is not, we're going to take the chance on this. And so you have to think about it. Are you really willing and able to take that chance?
There you go. It's our UX expert right there, Lisa Dance, with the outstanding research, like you said, a lot of times. So it's like when Fox News had the thing and they had to pay $750 million. We came to work the next day and we're like, okay. If you are a small business or a business and you're trying to emulate somebody like that, and you might be willing to take a chance, if they slapped, all right, so that's $2.5 billion. Say they maybe came up to you and said, hey, here's a $50 million penalty. Are you still open for business on Wednesday?
A lot of people are not going to be, definitely.
But that could have been.
Yes.
So the research enables you to know that problems are coming.
Right, yes. And I want to point out with this case is that if people who think user experience is just about how something looks, it's far deeper than that. And it goes into, oftentimes what's a problem on the interface on a website or app or something like that is also showing some kind of internal problems or internal decision making. And so it's deeper than just how something looks.
Because we'll think that the look is the colors, the font, that stuff right there. And you're saying there's things that are in there that you got bigger problems than that.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. I will let you know in the process of doing the research, we'll get a sense of whether someone likes what your website or app looks like, but it's also far deeper things like that. Can they actually use it? Do they understand? Do they understand what they're buying so that you have satisfied customers versus customers that are going to increase your cost as far as your customer service and support because they didn't understand in the purchasing process? Like those are things that like we identify in research, and then we can resolve and design it better so you avoid those types of problems.
You might have to pay a little bit more up front, but now it can help you mitigate some of the risk on the back end.
Right.
How can people find information about you, madam?
Okay, so on my website, serviceease.net, I always spell it serviceease.net. And if you look on my website, I am having a webinar on the 29th where I'm going to be talking a little bit more about this and digging deep so you can understand how user experience research can really be an early warning system on risk for your business.
All right, ma'am, let's talk about people who get worried about research. Oh, Lord, here comes Lisa. Explain the power of it. When it's not as expensive, all those things that I would do about research, or you get the information. Now I'm scared because let's downplay the panic button when it comes to research.
Yes. So one thing is I take a very practical and tactical approach to things. If you're at step B, I know you can't get to Z tomorrow, right? So I'm going to give you prioritized recommendations and on the impact to customers and to the business so that you can take those first steps as easy as you can. I can do things like audit your website and app and help you understand what that looks like, what the issues are, but I also can do research with your actual customers and get whatever challenges they're having, things that they like and things that they don't like or problematic, and make that help you to prioritize maybe new opportunities, right? It's an investment in making sure that you are sustainable and competitive because you are eliminating risk of lost customers and revenue and reputational damage, but also can open up opportunities of things you didn't realize customers wanted or were looking for. You have to think of it those ways as well. It's an investment, and it's not as expensive as some might think, and we have different steps to start with one smaller project, and we can build.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you contact my good friend Lisa right here, because you do not want to run into a problem. The investment is well worth it because you're mitigating risk.